Before we start here, there's a full explanation video coming out on Thursday. If you have any questions, hopefully the answers are in that video. While Nico Horner's 103 WRC plus from a year ago doesn't seem to be top 50 caliber, when you adjust for his position, it's more like a 113. Nico Horner's bat plus is also 10% above league average once you adjust for the second base position having generally weaker offensive talent. He also is a great defender and base runner and lands him in a top 50 spot. Aside from his rookie season, George Kirby has thrown over 190 innings every year of his big league career. He has a 3% walk rate, which establishes a very high floor for his season, and he still throws 96 miles per hour on his fastball. There's more upside to George Kirby than he's currently tapped into, and I'm praying that the high floor on top of that upside is perfectly fine to land him at 49. Framber Valdez's 61% ground ball rate is the top among all starters since 2022. He's also fifth in innings pitched in that time span. Framber gets a lot of weak contact. Combined with that, he also gets a ton of outs relative to the rest of the pitchers in the league, ranking him at 48. Prior to 2024, Logan Gilbert was an innings eater. This past season, his strikeout rate jumped to 9.5 per 9 innings. He still maintained his low walk rates that he's had his entire career. It's just now he is no longer just purely an inning eater. He also has top of the line stuff. Matt Chapman's 93.2 average exit velo ranked in the 96th percentile this past season, and that's been pretty consistent over the last 3 years of his career. A big reason for his success this year is his 4% decrease in K rate this past year. He also became a positive base runner in 2024. His outs above average was back up to 11 after being 2 and 4 in the prior seasons. Dansby Swanson is first in outs above average since 2022. He's also third in glove plus among all top 100 considerations. He's also 8% better than the average shortstop in Major League Baseball. This all combined makes him an easy top 50 player. Second in games played since 2022, Marcus Semien combines his 121 bat plus, which is 50th next to Trey Turner and Matt Chapman, and his 6th ranking glove plus to jump him very high into this ranking despite very little upside to his game. Though there's nothing indicative of future regression, Chris Sale was the Cy Young in 2024, but he has very rarely been healthy outside of 2024. For that reason, I'm just going to comfortably put him at the 43 spot and hope that he has another good season and that will move him up much higher going forward. Spencer Strider was the Cy Young favorite heading into 2024. A lot of this due to his K, whiff, and chase rates all being above the 95th percentile in 2023, with low walk rates and low hard hit rates being very predictive of future success. He just missed all of 2024 with UCL surgery and thus is being docked down a little bit as I want to see him healthy again. A shoulder injury led to a 5% increase in Corbin Carroll's pop-up rate this past season. Similar changes were seen with Cody Bellinger following his shoulder injuries. With Carroll, the batted ball numbers look largely the same year to year outside of this pop-up rate improvement. He also has improved his defense significantly, now being a pretty solid center field defender, even though he will probably play a lot more right field this coming season. All this means Corbin Carroll will stay rather put, even with a down 2024 season. The inning leader since 2022, Logan Webb, also has a ground ball rate since 2022 of 59%. Durability with very predictive low floor leads him to a top 40 spot. In 2024, Vladimir Guerrero was closer to a top 20 player. He had the highest batting average in the league this past year while hitting for a lot more power due to him not hitting the ball on the ground. However, in 2022 and 2023, he was likely not a top 100 player. This being said, if Vlad can repeat a 2021 or a 2024 season within the next 2 years, he should easily stay within the top 40 and probably jump even a little bit higher. Due to recovering from Tommy John surgery, Manny Machado didn't play much defense at third base to start the year, and even once he played, had a 0 outs above average for the year. In the 2 years prior, he was +9 and +11 at third base. I expect with more time back from Tommy John surgery, Manny Machado will recover to at least being a positive defender. With that, his bat plus is also a 126, with batted ball numbers to back them up. When Blake Snell throws over 130 innings, he wins the Cy Young. Unfortunately, this has only happened twice. He has a 12 K per 9 since 2021 and league average ground ball rate since 2023, when before he was a very fly ball prone pitcher. I do expect Blake Snell to continue to have good success, largely based off of what he did in the second half after he acclimated himself without a spring training this season. In an injured 2024 season, Trey Turner still managed a 124 WRC+. He has newfound power since going to Philadelphia, which I think will keep him as a solid offensive player, especially for a shortstop, as his defense continues to regress a little bit. He also maintains very solid base running, and I do expect Trey Turner to still be a top 40 player this upcoming season. 95th percentile hard hit rates and 81st percentile ground ball rates helped Corbin Burnes hedge a career low K rate this past season. However, his whiff and chase rates were improved from 2023. This being said, I think he will strike out more batters in the next season than he did in 2024. He also has thrown 193 innings or more every year since 2022. Corbin Burnes is becoming an inning eater who also dominates every hitter that he faces. Less than 500 plate appearances wasn't enough time for Austin Riley's 505 X slugs to normalize from his 461 actual slugging percentage. I will buy little stock into this 2024 down season. Austin Riley is top 10 in home runs since his breakout 2021 season. This is a very good offensive player. Elly De La Cruz went from a fringy defensive shortstop to an elite defensive shortstop in a year's time. He also has become one of the best base runners in the league. He's third in run plus, and he cut his ground ball percentage 8% over year to year. I do expect a decent offensive player who really makes up with it with his defense and base running. Carlos Correa played a half season this past year. In that half season, his position plus matched Gunnar Henderson's 1-for-1. He also saw a bounce back as a defensive player, and when he plays is still probably a top 20 talent. But unfortunately, that caveat does exist, docking Carlos Correa a good bit. 36th in bat plus and 38th in glove plus, Alex Bregman is still a very solid baseball player. His walk rate in 2024 was a career low, but it's not much of a concern since his chase rate was still in the 84th percentile. He will still be able to hit for power in Fenway Park, and I see no fall off coming. And this is a player who's a very good offensive and defensive player at third or second base, depending on where he ends up playing. In his first full season as a starting pitcher, Cole Riggins had a 10.7 K per nine and was effective at preventing hard contact. He was also sixth in starting pitchers for Stuff Plus, according to Eno Steris' Stuff Plus model. I do expect Cole Riggins to even improve a little bit more in his second full season as a starting pitcher and become one of the best pitchers in baseball. In a banged up and unlucky 2024, Michael Harris still managed a 98 WRC+. He has a bat plus of 114 and is a good defensive and base runner with a ceiling of an MVP caliber player if he ends up having decent luck in the next couple seasons. I do still have faith in Michael Harris, ranking him quite highly. Since 2022, Rafael Devers has avoided being an abysmal defender according to Outs Above Average. He hasn't been great, but he's made slight improvements, which is very important considering he is 20th in bat plus, with batted ball numbers that indicate better times coming, even based off of his good success from the past. I do expect Rafael Devers to still be valuable depending on if he plays third or first base this coming season, and is 28th ranked player. As a 21-year-old, Jackson Merrill had an 11 outs above average in center field, a position he had never played before professionally. He also had a 303 X batting average and a 534 X slug while being a solid base runner. This is a very complete player as a 21-year-old rookie, and I do expect great things in the future from Jackson. In 2022, Mike Trout had 40 home runs and 500 plate appearances, his best rate for his career. Since then, he has had less than 500 plate appearances, and injuries have dropped him down this list, even though his talent still proves to be very solid. Hopefully, we have a healthy Mike Trout in 2025, and I get to push him up this list. Discovering a late career power stroke, Jose Altuve has held strong value even as his defensive ability has slipped away. He ranks 7th in bat plus with a 154 bat plus, and I do still see a lot of value in Jose Altuve, even if his batted ball numbers reflect a guy who is very much getting away with being a Crawford box merchant. In a down 2024, Freddie Freeman was still 37% above league average as a hitter, and ranks 14th in bat plus, which considers the last 3 seasons. With very strong batted ball profiles, I still expect Freddie Freeman to be a solid hitter in his mid-30s. Lower back injuries caused Adley Rutschman's second half splits to be horrible. At the end of the year, he still managed a 103 WRC plus and has a bat plus of 133, which ranks 24th in all of baseball. Hoping for a healthy Adley Rutschman this coming season because his back injuries really affected him as a hitter and a
To the right
defensive player.
side and through between.
Transitioning to being an excellent first base defender helped Harper maintain some defensive value while moving to a less valuable position. He also ranks 21st in BAT Plus with a 135 and has very respectable batted ball profiles. I expect Bryce Harper to still be a top player in the game next season. Wheeler leads all pitchers in F4 since 2022. This happens if you adjust all the way back to 2018. Being 35 and career trajectories of the two pitchers ahead of him are the only reason Zach Wheeler isn't the first pitcher on this list, but he's still maintained great production into his mid. In 2023, Jarren Duran was an average defensive left fielder. In 24, he was a great defensive center fielder. He also expanded his part season numbers from 2023 into a full season in 2024. All this combined makes Jarren Duran the highest ranked non-ranked player from 2023 who did actually play in 2023. I expect big things from Jarren Duran in the future. A 25% increase in WRC plus corresponds with an average exit velocity jump of 3 miles per hour for Ketel Marte. Marte also improved defensively in 2024 with a jump of an OOA from 1 to 8. He ranks 10th in BAT Plus, and another similar season to 2024 would jump Marte into a solidified top 10 player in the Major League Baseball. Since going to Milwaukee, William Contreras has improved his defense significantly. He's also the best offensive catcher in baseball with a 143 BAT Plus, and is a cut in his ground ball percentage away from being an inner circle MVP candidate. I expect William Contreras to be one of the better players in baseball in 2025. Cal Raleigh has a BAT Plus in line with Austin Riley, and a glove plus better than defensive specialists like Andres Jimenez and Dalton Varsho. Cal's the complete package at the catcher position who averages 30 home runs per season since 2022. The 2023 MVP season is weighing up two subpar seasons on either end from Ronald Acuna. With a second ACL injury, there are real questions about Acuna's defensive and base running game going forward, which had previously been huge drivers of his value. With him missing the start of this year, his placement is a nod to how good of a hitter he was in 2023, as 80% of a hitter he was that year would have earned him a very high spot on this list. While his 2024 was marginally better than his 2023, his batted ball numbers more reflected the superstardom of a pre-suspension Fernando Tatis. With a strong defensive corner outfield profile that he didn't have prior to that, Tatis still projects as a solid MVP candidate for the 2025 season, and I expect this ranking will be very solid for me. Tarik Skubal leads all pitchers with at least 250 innings and ERA since 2023. His velo increase led to dominance in 2024, and there are no signs of regression in the future. The only reason he's not first is because, well, I had to pick somebody to be second, and I picked Paul Skeens to be first. His 244 FIP was second to only Chris Sale among pitchers who threw over 200 innings this past season. He also gets a lot of ground balls, and it allows very few hard contacts. There are no signals of his run prevention being any worse in the future, and he is not even 24 years old yet. Jose Ramirez is 15th in BAT Plus with a 139. He's also 12th in Run Plus and 46th in Glove Plus among all top 100 considerations. He's also third in position player F4 in the 2020s decade and ranks very highly over the past couple seasons. A 152 BAT Plus ranks Yordan Alvarez 8th. He also has quite literally the best batted ball profiles I've ever seen. Like, everything for the last 3 years is dark red. I don't think there's a hitter that I will ever project to have more success than Yordan Alvarez. In his sophomore season, Gunnar Henderson hit 37 home runs with a hard hit rate of 54%. While playing an average defensive shortstop and being an elite base runner. Entering his age 24 season, it is hard to see any path where Gunnar Henderson is not an elite player going forward. A BAT Plus of 161 ranks Juan Soto 4th. That includes a down 2022 season and a 2024 season where his X-Slug was 80 points higher than his actual slug. Sure, his defensive profile is shaky, but it's possible a return to a regular position in right field will suit him well like it did in 2024, where he marked his best fielding run value since 2021. On pace for a career year this past year, Kyle Tucker only played 80 games. He also ranks 6th in bat plus and 29th in run plus. A well-balanced profile, entering his age 28 season coming off a career best, ranks Tucker 7th. 2024 was a career year for Francisco Lindor, but it could have been better. His X-slug was 30 points higher than his actual slug, but at the end of the day, he still ranked 25th in bat plus, 18th in run plus, and 11th in glove plus. He's also second in position player F WAR since 2022 and is quite literally one of the best players in baseball. The only thing stopping him from being higher is his ceiling not being as high as some guys that are ahead of him. After years of playing around with the idea, 2024 marks a full-time move to shortstop for Mookie Betts. He ranks second among all players in bat plus and should see better defensive results while playing just one position. Mookie Betts is third in position player F WAR since 2022. A down year in 2023 where he played 123 games, Corey Seager still managed a 4.5 F WAR and a 140 WRC plus, with batted ball numbers indicating that it was in part due to bad luck. Seager still manages to be third ranked in bat plus among all position players and will be one of the best players in baseball for years to come, while improving defensively in his time in Texas. In 2024, Bobby Witt Jr. was 67% better than the league average hitter. He stole 30 bases and had an outs above average of 16. His 10.4 F WAR ranks 6th in single seasons since 2000, only behind 2 Aaron Judge seasons and 3 Barry Bonds seasons. Aaron Judge is one concrete wall away from having 3 consecutive 50 home run seasons. His 2022 and 2024 are top 10 seasons in position player F WAR since integration in 1942. Aaron Judge also has a bat plus of 94, 30 points ahead of Mookie Betts, who is in second. Coming off Tommy John surgery, it is likely Ohtani's workload will be limited this upcoming season. But if his run prevention is 70% of what it was from 21 to 23, he will likely be good enough to be at the top of this list. His bat plus of 157 ranks him 5th this past season and had a career best base running season in 2024, ranking him 1st on my top 50. There will be a full podcast episode coming out this Thursday about questions about this list. If those things aren't answered in this video, hopefully I will be able to get to them in the comment sections. Please leave comments. It's very engaging and I do like to share why I do hold the opinions I do.